Oh, hello there. So, still working on ED 209. Gonna add some missing details and correct some details. In this panel here, there's supposed to be a series of small holes or dimples. So I'm probably gonna add them with my scribing tool. In the kit, they want you to use... Morning, Fenrir. They want you to use these wires on the arms here. On the filming model, that's actually more like a braided metal sheath, like on some kind of hydraulic line that needs to be armored. So what I did there, hi Arnie, is I had some extra tow string from some RC tanks, and I painted it aluminum. Aries Studios, thank you for the resub. Wait, I thought you were subbed already, or did it pass by now? Hi, Arnie? Yes? What can I do for you? Good boy. Hi. You just want attention, old man? We'll get you some attention, just don't stand on the mouse. Yeah. Hi. I know, we're just starting, and we're starting early, so you're not used to that. Do you want chair or do you want floor? Because I need to be able to work on things. I can't have you on desk. We'll do floor, and if you want to come back up, you can do chair, okay? Here you go. Good boy. So let's start by getting these glued in place on this arm. Super glue. And this one is that arm. So this one is that arm. Alright. One missing detail I wish I had noticed earlier, so I could have addressed it more during assembly, is right around here on the filming model there's a rubber collar. Kind of like the same stuff that's on the legs. It's kind of like that. But in this case I think I can get away with just painting it black. Let's get you 90 degrees. Okay. But overall, this is a pretty decent kit with a little TLC can be turned into a pretty convincing replica of the filming model. A little smaller, but not terrible. The hardest part for me was figuring out how to do the braided look. And as soon as I saw that string, I was like, that's how I'll do it. You should have... Well, don't. No, I'm not. No, I'm not an excuse. I stream when you're not available, or when you're napping. Don't put that on me. That's bad juju. Do I appreciate when you're able to attend? Yes. Do I hold it against you when you don't? No. Do I regret taking said nap? Yes. Because I woke up feeling like complete ass. I guess all the kitties look. Nope, he's in the other chair, the old chair. You could say that. Or a crap nap. There we go. And then the wire detail on the last hose. And it's still flexible, so when everything's together, I can pose it. Not that I play with it too often, but I can just get that good final pose in store. Okay. The next is going to be the dimples. I don't know if they're all going to be the correct size, shape, placement, what have you, but they are here. What I'm trying to do, see if autofocus will even play along today on this one, but there's a series of small holes in this panel. I'm just trying to recreate the look so when I give it a wash you'll see them. And this may take longer than I like. And wouldn't you know it, the other night I was on Amazon, and the Moderoid Robocop kit came up. It's on the way to me now. So I'll have Robo in scale with this. And there are other missing details that I will need to replicate. And those are here. There's actually a strip detail that goes in here on both sides. Also fixed up a plate leveling issue on my printer this morning. So I'll be able to get the rest of Red Hood printed out in pretty short order. Got her legs, torso, head, scarf, and rifle done. I still have to do her arms, fingers, and hair. And it's going to be a lot of hair. Hey Francois, how you doing? Okay. So I just want to give these a bit of time to dry before I went and put the wire on, because I think one of the arms has red and black twisted wire, but I don't have anything small enough. Yeah, it's the missile side. So I'm probably just going to use primarily red wire for both sides. It'll look better that way. And I'm using a finer gauge than what they gave in the model. I don't like how thick that is. Not trying to be perfect, but just trying to make it a bit more scale. Sorry, I had a sneeze attack right before the stream started. So next stream day after today will be Monday. And aside from one day next week, or is it the week after, it looks like my schedule's going to be pretty steady on morning shifts. So once I really adjust to that, I'm going to try to push for more regular daily streams, if I can. You know how it goes when you're trying to physically get used to being up at certain hours and then it changes and changes. You can never get used to one thing. And then you're just tired all the time. I really like how this painted string turned out, looking like that braided covering. See if it shows up. It's showing up a little bit. Hit the auto button for intensity. Let's see here. Come on. Focus. There we go. Kinda. Anywho. But I also repainted the model. Did that off stream since all I had was a rattle can and I had to use that outside. But Duplicolor light gray primer, I think, is a better match to the puppet's color than the blue-gray plastic they had it in. Let me get black gray. So yeah, we're gonna jump around on parts of this. Painting the accordion parts black. I'm actually using black gray, that way it doesn't feel too deep. It feels more rubbery. I'd have left this part separate, except it gets trapped in this piece when it's built. I always found Tamiya's rubber black was too brown tone. It's good for like rubber, but if you're just trying to go for like a more of a tire black, hard to explain. I like using their NATO black for stuff like that too. And I'm probably going to airbrush the head covering part, simply because there's like that texture on it that I know the brush just will not be able to get down into. Uh-oh. Face! And I don't know if the last Ed 209 stream hit the algorithm right, but its views skyrocketed overnight last night. I don't know why. If somebody shared it, thank you. I'm gonna have to get a smaller brush to do in close there. And again, this piece I tried to pop off to see if I could paint it separately, but its keyways are too strong and I didn't want to risk damaging the part trying to pop it off. But this is just Vallejo black gray. To that. We'll have to give the wires in here some attention to detail too, because I watched the stairwell scene today, and well, the whole combat scene with Robocop, and there's some red wires mixed in with these, so just so we get them all looking kind of right, we'll have to throw some red on some of these. I could even drill some holes and add more wires, just to give it that much more depth in between everything, which may still be a possibility. Who's that? Hi, Allie. So See her little nose poking around over there. Do you want uppies? See if we can get you uppies. Give me a sec, guys. Trying to accommodate my little misfit. Allie. Uppies. Come on. Uppies. Good girl. Now if I can just get my chair to slide closer, instead of my butt sliding out of it. Maybe. She's actually been kind of low-key today. She's laying down. Good girl. I know I'm just glomming out the paint here, but I really don't care. And the spammers are back in style. Spam, 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 spam. Really, the only thing I masked off when I primed it, I shot these with some Tamiya silver first, and then masked them off. Now, if I remember right, the bottoms of his feet are actually gray. So that's the way we'll leave it. Yeah, that's better. Other foot. Where'd it go? Hey, Allie girl. Let's see what we can do. There she is, sharing the camera. Pretty girl. Oh, I pet you too much and now you want all the pets all the time. Now I got nose tickles from the kitty fur in the air. Well, at least I got nose tickles instead of testicles. Come on, I know one of you was thinking of that joke. Mm. No, there's something else that's been tickling my nose all morning. See, that tells me you were thinking of that. I was waiting for more of a get out of my head response from you, but that's okay. That was just as good. Really, I might have to go wash my nose. I think my skin's drying out again. They are. I'm not going to worry too much about the very bottoms, but at least this edge here. They're gunship gray, basically. There's a couple different grays on the model overall. Come on, nose. Ah, fucking hell. Do you hate those days when just it doesn't stop tickling? I know I'm not allergic or else I'd be going nuts all the time. Honestly, if I ever developed an allergy to cats, I'd be pissed. Okay. That can go over there. Get the smaller brush out to do in and around. But that said, I might take a minute to go upstairs and wash my nose and make sure I didn't get like something on it that's fucking with me. Just itching all over the place today. What the hell? At least there's enough to do on each part of this model that I shouldn't reach any kind of halting point on it for a good bit. What the fuck? The fucking Indian call scammers. They've been on a rampage again. Then they'll go away for a month, and then they'll come back. It's like the center gets raided, they get shut down. And then they open back up. Well, you're lucky, I do. And I don't know why either. Unless it's part of that fucking AT&T bullshit that happened again. I had one come up. The phone number actually rang through as Electronic Arts. I'm like, either way, that's a scam. Okay. Let's get these. Where the rubber boot's supposed to be is just this part here. So I can take this out. And I painted these parts with Vallejo dark aluminum. Sprayed them last night. And I really think these models were made... When did these come out, really? Because I don't think they were made to coincide with the release of the Robocop game, but I could be wrong. Because Ed 209's a boss in that, and the Robocane body with the old man's brain inside of it is the final boss in the game. That looks a lot better. There we go. And yet a smaller brush. Yeah, I haven't played it. It honestly looks irritatingly repetitive and somewhat troubling in terms of like the gameplay. Like the kind of thing that would just get annoying after a couple hours of playing it. And I understand it was more of like an indie studio game, so given the budget, I think visually they actually did a pretty damn good job on it. You know, I could pop this part off, but it really won't make painting it that much easier. And that seam popped open again. I'm not going to worry about fixing it. I'll just leave it. I'll probably have to wait till next payday to get the driver and passenger for the Kenworth. So that's on hold till then. I could probably still finish the interior and all that, just not glue it together. But I've also learned that the more you fuck around with a model, the more chances it breaks when you don't want it to. You're being really good today, Allie. I might have to go see if we gotta squeeze them for you later. Get you a treat. No. She's asleep. Just going over any other pieces and parts on the torso part, or the head part, that need black paint. And there will be some airbrush shading too. Okay. So we'll leave that there. Nothing else on the legs for right now. Let's work on the arms for a minute. So it looks like this area is black with a dark gray ammo box. Jesus, Mary, Mother of Christ. We got the Forever Winter soundtrack playing again too. Surprisingly enough, it doesn't get copyright tagged on YouTube. Hi, Marmar. Hi, Marbles. Allie might get off the desk and chase him around for a bit. They've actually been playing together a lot lately, which I like to see, because with Arnie passing soon, we're worried that Marbles might fall into a little kitty depression, which we know he will, because like Arnie's like his best bud. But if he's got that kind of bond with Allie, it'll be easier for him. Arnie's not in any immediate kind of health danger right now. It's just he's 17. He'll be 18 by November. Actually, he'll be 18 in August. He was an August kitten. But we got him for Mason's first birthday. And that's kind of the benchmark we use for his age. So he'll be 18 this year. And Marbles and Mittens will be hitting 11 this summer, this August as well. And the thing about Marbles and Mittens, though, is I don't know if there's any hidden health issues with them because of how I found them when they were feral. Actually, let me... nose, knock it off. Can't really tell. I haven't really been able to play Forever Winter lately. Like, the game still works fine, I just haven't had the time to devote to it. I haven't had time for a lot of video games lately. Last game I played was Generation Zero with Ares. And we found out we were causing an issue in the game, causing it to crash. There we go. Everybody's on the YouTube side right now. Hello. How y'all doing? We're adding some details and some paint to the Good Smile / Moderoid ED 209 kit. Thought I'd touch that a bit. But that's okay. I was hoping Arnie would be feeling a little more energetic today. Earlier he was up to his old tricks playing chair cat. It's when he likes to get up across the back of the chair and lay down and hang out. Okay. And while we have this out, let's paint that. That. And some of the other gun parts that we've gotten here. And the rocket launcher too. Forgot that was actually black. What color is this little whatever this is? It's black-gray as well. With what looks like green wires on it. We'll figure that out. But I hope everybody's having a good day and is getting ready for a good weekend. And I hope your weekends are as productive or non-productive as you want them to be. Watch your tail. I almost put my arm down on it. So a lot of these gun parts are going to get dry brushed with gunmetal or steel before I install them too. Let's put these back in here. So they can dry. Paint these while they're on the sprue still. But we still have the gloss and the decals to attend to as well. Drop. And I could airbrush all this, but honestly, I really just don't feel like spraying anything right now. I'll have to put the satin coat on once we get everything painted. New airbrush works okay with the compressor. Much quieter compressor too, much more consistent. So thanks again to everybody who donated to the stream goal of getting that. Our next stream goal is for some interactive background lighting to go on the display cabinets behind me. If you want to contribute to that, for right now until YouTube gets bigger, you're going to have to go over to Twitch and contribute there. But it's not mandatory. Okay, which side do you go on anyway? Drop again. That was more of a ping. Okay, that's an outside. Let's get you held on a bit better. Touch up what got messed up when it dropped. Now I've got this little kitty tail tickling my arm too. You on your back. There we go. Yeah, this is going to be the fun part when we get to it, because this has all these pre-made holes for all the wires. Some of them I've got smaller wire to put into them. It should be able to fit both of them in the one. We'll see. That's the wires for the rocket launcher. Okay. The rocket tips will be getting painted red. Alrighty. There's those. Anything else that needs to be painted black by brush? Not that I can see. You know what? Screw it. I'm just going to paint the headpiece by brush. If I get it thinned out just right, it should work. Famous last words. I forgot to get that. That's actually filling better than I thought. There's definitely a storm coming tonight. Snowstorm. Make sure everything's as evenly spread as I can get it now that the whole thing's coated. Just want to make sure I don't have a buildup in any one area. That should actually go pretty good. Next we'll get the basalt gray out and start tackling the dark gray. Actually, before we tackle the dark gray areas, I need to fix the details that are missing on the legs. And I need to paint this part before I forget it for a third time. But how's everybody been today? Is this on? Kitty break. She is being a good girl today, though. Okay, so I need my strip styrene. No, you do not play with that. Where's my pencil? Hey, Kenneth. Yes, you see the day you got snow as the greatest day in your life. I look at it like Friday. Like, seriously, for us to shut down here because of snow, we would have to have a storm like the one that hit in 2004, where it snowed like 3 feet in an hour. So I gotta do this 4 times, which means I need 20 of these. But I'm gonna handle them 5 at a time. Hey, pretty girl. Yeah, we're supposed to get some tonight. Probably only be an inch or 2, maybe 3. I need to add 4 or 5 of these per leg, but... Hey, Andy. I don't know about, I wasn't here in the area when it happened. I was out in England. But I just heard that the base was even shut down for like a couple days while they tried to get the roads and everything opened back up. And welcome to the channel. Looks like I'll only be able to do 4 per side, but that's fine. It's getting the detail in there that matters, not being 100% perfect. And it helps hide the nasty seam line that's in there. Every time I do this, I think, oh, the chopper would be great to use if I had one. Then I remember, I don't, and I don't do this often enough anymore to make the chopper a worthwhile investment. But yeah, Utah doesn't close schools or roads without good reason, and The kind of storms we get here would shut down any place like Texas or Georgia. Come on, stick. There we go. One last one here. There we go. Now the other leg. But I do like the way they designed it. They did think about painting these. So nothing here actually physically grabs onto them for sliding. It's all a bushing that's on the metal rod in the middle. So, good little bit of forethought on Moderoid's part for that one. Just need 7 more bits. 3. 5. There we go. Got 4 per side. Put this back, because we don't need that anymore. Pretty girl. Hopefully she'll never have to experience cold like that ever again. No. Yeah, whoever dumped you out deserves to be shot. Good girl. What are you doing? You're just spinning. Need a new alert when she does that. Please, you spin me right round. Honestly, though, I am very happy with this model. It's a definite step up from the old Horizon kit. Who's down here meowing at me now? Who is that, Ellie? Is that Marbles? Where is he? I heard somebody meow. Oh, it is Marbles. Hi, boy. Up. Chair cat, come on. Your turn. What? What are you whining about? Okay. Now we can get the basalt gray out and start painting those details. But first, I need to take a stand-up break. It's been over an hour, and it's good to stand up and do that every hour or so. So I'm going to put the pause screen up, stand up, move around, get the blood moving through the legs, and be right back. So give me about 5 minutes. And we're back. Marbles, if you want up, you gotta jump on the back of the chair. You know that. Yeah. You used to chair cat all the time, so don't give me that face. Aries Studios, thank you for the cheer.
Studios cheers Dex 100. Yay, you're back.
Much appreciated. Every little bit helps, and it goes back into supplies or other things for the channel. Okay. It's a little bit of basalt gray. And I've noticed on the filming model, this little flap that goes on the feet right here, these boxes, and these square portions on the leg are all that same color. It's kind of like gunship gray, but just a hair bit lighter. May as well paint this all dark gray too. Help hide it better. And if anyone's working on anything interesting on the Twitch side, we do have link sharing, so if you've got an Instagram or other link that's to a safe site, please feel free to share it. For anything you might be working on. Get in here too. Who is shredding my coat? Oh. That would be Frank. Frankie. Frankie. Hey. Come on. Come on, big boy. Don't be shy. Our house tiger. Unfortunately, this kit does not have terribly good painting instructions. It has just photo references of a painted example of the model. I'll show you. So obviously that on the cover, and then just that inside. And honestly, the painting has a lot to be desired. Push that all the way up so in case I get some on, you'll never know it. There's a cap the same color that goes on that. Hey, Cube Jam. Yeah, it's Ed 209, the Moderoid kit. Adding some missing details and painting it up. No, this is the plastic kit. You can get it on Amazon for like 50 bucks. None of the Ed 209 files that are online are good. They've all got dimension and shape issues. Especially the Gambody ones. Gambody stuff is notorious for being rushed and just... There we go. Alright, next leg. Basically all the same stuff we just painted again. Get this up here. Hell, don't get the moose from Chappie. I might give that one another shot, but there's a lot of post-printing work I'm gonna have to fix. And welcome to the channel, anybody who's new here. Got a lot of lurkers and new viewers on YouTube, so welcome. And if you're any of the new YouTube subscribers, thank you. Went up by like 3 or 4 last day alone. Hey, the more the merrier. We're still not even halfway close to busting the 1,000 barrier on YouTube, though. I would be surprised if that even happened in the next year. But all I can do is keep going. There's that. But yeah, if there's a plastic kit of something available, I'll generally try and do that first before I consider printing it. Because 9 times out of 10, especially these days, your plastic kit's going to be far more correct than most files online. Even though I did have a friend recently share some 74 Ford Falcon files with me that are extremely correct, and hopefully in the next year I can make a lineup of all the different variations of the Mad Max Falcon. So you got first movie, second movie, and the 2 examples that were in Fury Road. I could have sworn Bandai did a Thunderbird 1. I could be wrong though. And it may not be that great or too small. And if I do the Falcon, well then, I gotta do the Gigahorse. And if I do that, well then, I'd have to do the War Rig, right? I just wish Gambody would remodel the files for the Gigahorse's body. Supposedly there's ways to fix that I could use in Chitubox and other programs. I just don't have the know-how to do it. Alright, now same color on the ammunition cases. The straps that color. They're black and silver. Okay. Yeah, I've already got the Planet X kit of the Interceptor in the first movie version. So I could do a print of the body, cut the trunk out, and do the second movie version. Add in all the stuff for that. There's a bit more stuff that would have to be done to do the third movie version from the beginning, and then what it was turned into. I have to repaint that, but that's fine. Okay, get some different music going here. Sorry, I keep going back and forth between pictures of the reference, just so I know I'm getting the right things in the right places. That is the same color as the gun, the ammo. Yep, okay. And apparently Moderoid did the 2014 ED 209 as well. I've just never seen the kit for sale anywhere. Does anybody have any plans for the weekend, or is it just going to be sitting around, having fun, and just playing games? I have to work. Then again, if I don't work, I don't have money to do a lot of this at the moment. At least I'm working the early shift, so there is a slight silver lining. And if the weather tomorrow didn't make me crash, there's a possibility of another stream tomorrow night before Monday. Because right now my next scheduled one's going to be Monday. Hey, Loston, it goes okay. Got an earlier start, which is good. Which means either I'll be able to do a longer stream, or, depending on how I feel, have more time after the stream to do more other stuff around the house. Gotta balance the adulting with the playtime, you know? I can touch up those nub points easily once I remove it. Just easier to paint these pieces on the sprue. And I think another reason I'm doing so much brush painting on this is everybody thinks you need to do airbrushing all the time to get good smooth results. You don't. You can brush paint just fine. It's all in the paint and how much you brush on it. Oh, there's going to be more tonight. Because I hope to at least have him clear-coated and ready for paint today. Or not paint, decals. But yeah, if you can get your paint to lay down nice and flat, and not brush over it too much after the fact when it's starting to set, you won't be able to tell the difference. Anything on the head that needs to be gunship gray? Well, we're not done with the arms yet. Hold on. I need a much smaller brush for this. There we go. So it's about right through... right here. And then down the side. I'm glad even the professional artists are looking at a novice like me. That does mean a lot. Okay. I have been giving thought to kind of sketching out some ideas I've had. It's been a very long time since I've drawn anything, and my son got me a small pencil and colored pencil art set for Christmas. Nothing too extravagant, but considering the idea that I've had bouncing in my head, kind of a grayscale with limited red, orange, yellow color palette might work. Thank you. Okay. So for those who are just coming in, one of the things we addressed on this kit, so where is it? And you may have seen it on the community tab on YouTube. On the arms, right there. Oh, come on, autofocus. You're really not helping me right now. Okay. It has you use wire for the hoses. the stop motion puppet has like a braided line. Oh yeah. And I was thinking of how to recreate that, and I'm overthinking it at first. I'm like, I can go into Michael's and find some silver string the right size, blah blah blah. No, I had some of this black cable left over from a tow line on a RC tank. I painted it aluminum, cut it to length. Sorry. The air is drying out, so my nose has been itching like crazy all on the outside. It's dry as hell. Cat hair isn't helping, it's tickling. Okay. Let me get the medium gray out, because there's a couple little spots for that. Well, the thing is, it hit me right as I was going to bed, too, because I looked at my tanks as I was going upstairs. And I'm like, wait a minute. I saw the texture of the braid and the line. I'm like, that could work. And sure enough, as soon as I painted it aluminum, it looked exactly the same. Yeah, medium gray around those. I'm just scouring the images of the filming puppet before I do much else. That way I know I've got everything I need covered. Excuse me. And the hiccups are driving me nuts too today. There goes another one. Could have sworn I heard somebody meowing at me. Allie's in her donut. Arnie's in the chair over there. All the kitties are leaving us alone again. And if I do any drawing, it won't be on stream, it'll be off stream. And I've talked about it on stream before, but I went to Art Institute in Fort Lauderdale way back when. Then some idiots flew some planes into some buildings, so I rejoined the military. But it just felt like everything I was learning there was going to be useless by the time I graduated too. Okay, is that the exact same tone as the gray that I'm painting? I might need something slightly darker. Let's get you dried off. Yeah, I need darker. I don't use this color very often anyway. Yet, let's mix you with a little bit. There we go. The only person who can tell me the color is 100% wrong is Phil Tippett. It's slightly darker. It should be a hair darker than even that. Not as dark as the gunship gray. There we go. I mean, even to the eye, it's barely a shade darker. Like I said, only Phil Tippett could tell me if it's 100% wrong. Yeah. The fact that it is different to the surrounding area. But I also mentioned earlier in the stream that the kit of Robocop that is in scale with this popped up on Amazon like literally the day after I did the last stream. So that's on the way here now. It'll be here in a couple weeks. I think it's coming from Japan. More image scouring, and we can start some of the more fun stuff. Oh yeah, I forgot. On the feet. Durr. I like them because having the white plastic allows you to see the color more true when you're mixing it. Other people are like, use a wet palette and this and that. I'm like, you know, that's great and all. If I wanted to save a color mix for later, sure. I don't work like that, and the way I do things is so radically different than most other people that it's not a tool I really need to add to my repertoire. And this is literally a butter dish lid. They're cheaper than the palettes, the palettes that you mentioned. And you can also just scrape them clean when you're done. Or run them under some hot water. Even enamels and artist oils don't stick to them. Not very well, anyway. I need to go back and watch the boardroom scene again. I can't remember if this indented area is the dark gray or light gray. On the filming model, it's missing. And there's the mold aspect to it. I'm gonna go with the darker gray in there, just because the full-size prop had it, and the few shots I have of the filming model that show that area also have it. So yeah, we're gonna put dark gray in there. Okay. But yeah, I get new tops like this every month, every time I finish a thing of cream cheese or we use up some butter. The only thing I don't like about using the bags like that, because I've done that before as well, is there's nothing to retain the paint if you get it a bit too runny. Once those dry, we'll go back and we'll do the foot pads around the edge. So if your paint just happens to be a little too runny or something, it can cause bigger problems. We might start up the new airbrush here in a second, because I want to start getting some of the airbrushed on shading work done. Or should I gotta clear coat it to do the decals. And I need to do the decals before I do the shading. Ugh. Phil Tippett, why do you have to have that style? There you go. Yeah, it is better than breaking out the compass. You just lay the lid on, then spray, or trace around it. Oh, there's still more details we gotta paint before we decal anyway. And I figure if I run into a stopping point on this, we can work on the trailer for the Kenworth. Okay. Yeah, kind of like the guys who do the street art with the spray paint, and they just use the pot lids for masking things, for doing like the planets and stuff. Gotta see this. Oh, nice. Yeah, so you spray down your color first, then you put the lids over, and then psh, 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 psh. Yeah, that is neat. Sock dipped in ink. I was wondering how you did that. I figured it was either something like that, like the old rag technique, or it was watercolor. Give me a sec. Okay, I can see it now. Yeah. Okay. Where's that picture of Ed on the stairs? Of course it's too small! I do basically the same thing for mud spatter. Just a toothbrush and some acrylic and... Not too worried about being perfect on the bottom of the feet. I may just paint the entire underside of the pad dark gray, even though I don't think it was. But I used a lacquer-based paint as the primer anyway. Mm-hmm. So that way the pile texture on the inside adds more to it. Hey, at least I know which gray is an almost exact match for this, so I can just repaint that entire pad if I need to. Is it bad that I use trigger breathing when I do straight edges like that? Mm-hmm. There are so many different ways to do stars, it's ridiculous. It's the best way of keeping your hands steady. We've got 8 viewers between YouTube and Twitch. Welcome, everybody. I hope you're all having a nice start to your weekend. Well, either the toothbrush or just like a more I've also done a square brush, and then I use a an old airbrush needle to flick it. Something stiff that gets the right kind of fling off the tip of the brush. But usually when I'm doing the mud stuff, I've got something thicker, and it's a bit more harsh to spread. So you really got to work at it. Usually the toothbrush does most of the work. The thumb's good, but sometimes you can't get the right angle with it. I know for your work on paper it's easy enough, but I've got to get into tight spaces, so sometimes I need the smaller thing to kind of do the work. I'm trying to get up in a wheel well on a Jeep or a Humvee or something. Aries and his giggities. Now, if he gets Fenrir saying it, I'm gonna definitely enforce the giggity tax. Oh, hi, Marmar. What you got there? What else was it that I needed to paint dark gray that I was forgetting about? Let's touch up under that foot real quick. I've seen that too. The earliest example I remember seeing of that, I used to have a collected volume of Bloom County by Berkeley Breathed, and he had a guy in a spacesuit where the helmet was blown off. And it was extremely convincing. He said he made the spurt first, and then filled in the astronaut afterward. I'm gonna change my butt position here for a sec. Allie. She's out of her little donut. Come here, girl. Come on. Come on. Up. Good girl. Hi. You gonna be good or you gonna cause trouble? Looks like she wants to be good. Okay. So I need some dry brushing on this. Let's get the... I think I'm out of steel, actually. And we'll just go with dark aluminum again. Watch that tail! Your little tail's a weapon. Your mom's right. You like to knock things off desks with that. What are you staring at? What's over there? You better not be after our jumping spider. Okay. Dark aluminum. Get most of it off of here. Get to highlighting things where they need to be highlighted. There, not so dead inside now. this can get installed. There. And now that's in. This can go in. There we go. Okay. And this isn't so much as like worn down on these pieces, but I did notice that there is a slight kick off the corners on this. There we go. And that should pop a little more with the wash after we do the clear coat. It would be neat to take this out and do some forced perspective photography with it. That's how they did everything in the movie. They did either rear screen projection or forced perspective. And all the gun parts. And as we dry brush these, we can actually get them installed. Gotta paint those red. Okay, I have found one downside to these larger bottles of Vallejo Air metal acrylics. They like to coagulate, which can cause spraying issues. That would not be good to have that spill. Because once I get this installed, I can start working on the wiring for the rocket launchers. Just trying to gauge how far I can go with the burnished metal look. That part I can go pretty far with it. The rest is still, yeah, call that good. Kick some highlights onto here. And a couple right up here on this. So yeah, just a little bit of a kick on that. I still have to paint the straps black. It is, and it depends on the brand. Like Tamiya, It's like liquid glitter. Their metal flake is just so heavy. Or Vallejo, it's very fine, almost like the old buffing powders, as far as the pigments. It has its uses if you know how to make it work for you. Yep, but it's not the best, no. The most difficult thing about Tamiya paints is they tend to... Like, Vallejo and other companies will make all the paints for all the things. Tamiya won't make it unless they start making a model that requires that color. So like if they're doing an F16, which they've done in 3 different scales now, then they'll have all the different grays you need for the F16 finally. But until then, you'll have to make them out of some form of recipe that they have in their instructions. Right? No, you're just paying for the name, to be honest. That's why I use Duplicolor. Goes on just as thin. And you get 3 times the amount. Like, I shit you not, this is what I use to paint this. Just that. It's the only paint that I've found that goes on thin enough. Even their automotive sprays go on thin. Where Rust-Oleum almost always goes on too heavy. Starting to get the character back into the model, putting it back together. Hey Joel, welcome to the channel. There we go. See, you don't always need the top-of-the-line expensive AK, you know, special can primers and stuff. You can use some of the cheaper off-the-shelf stuff and get good results. Oh, there's still some waste via overspray, but it's more cost-effective regardless. Yeah, Tamiya is smooth, but for the price, if I'm spending that, I'm just gonna go right to the source and get Mr. Surfacer in a can. It's generally about the same price, and you get more. If I need something that fine, And I've got it in the bottle too with some lacquer thinner. I can just mix it for airbrushing. Hey, little kitty girl. Hey, kitty girl. Psst, psst. Okay, so this goes here. I haven't pushed that on all the way. I want to get the red paint out. There's the missile tips. There's some wires in the feet that I want to pick out. And I think there's some wires behind here that actually have to be red and green in this area. And they are molded in. God, I wish autofocus worked better on this camera. And I have to paint these aluminum. That's going to be after I do the satin coat, though. Alright, so... Watch out, Allie. You want to be a butthead now? Is that it? Hmm? What are we doing? Hmm? What are we doing? Are we going to be good? Sometimes she likes to get right in the middle and push everything out of the way. We're not going to allow that today, are we? No. No, we're not. Yeah, there was... I read something about that recently. I think it's a labeling issue, is what they were originally trying to say. Hi. Boop. Yeah, good girl. There was an issue like that recently in the US. Well, I say recently, it's over 10 years ago now. Because the cans and bottles didn't have the right markings on them to be imported through California. They had to be remarked and relabeled, which caused a backup and a delay. It's a conspiracy, I tell ya. Yeah, I was surprised about how big this came out. It is... I want to say it's probably 1/10 or 1/12 scale. It's got to be 1/12. I'll be able to know more with how big Robocop is, because I know Peter Weller's a tall guy, but I can compare that to the Ripley figure in the Power Loader, which is 1/12. What are you doing? You're just being weird now. What? Oh, you're trying to act all cutesy? Okay, I'll give you scritches. And the stop motion puppet was 1/9. So it wasn't much bigger than what I've got here on my desk. Yeah, this is why I like these palettes. You can get the old paint off just by doing this. Yeah, I look over and I just see this cat rolling around on the desk. What is it, Allie? Huh? Oh, watch your little legs. I don't want to catch him and hurt him. I'll know more when it gets here. Yeah, because 1/12 is the same scale as the frame arms kits. Even though they're 1:1 scale, they're 1/12 scale. And red. Red, 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 red. Careful. I'm gonna slide your booty over the other way, because your legs dangling off worry me. There. It'll be another couple weeks. I've got one I've already started, but it's actually more 1/9 scale. Yeah. Oh, come on, nose. Yeah, the air dried out today. I can just feel the skin drying out of my nose. Oh my god. What? Oh, is it because I'm shaking my paint? You want to play? Huh? Maybe I'll get the laser out later and let you run around some. Work off some of that energy you got. You and Frankie. Well, it's been barely getting out of the 20s during the day here lately. And we got a snowstorm coming in tonight. No estimation as to how much it's going to put on the ground. So we'll see. If it just spits, then I'll be driving the Camaro to work tomorrow. If it dumps down, I'll drive the Fusion. Okay, there's that. Typically, we leave the Fusion for the wife. Okay, now not a lot of these are red, but I want to pluck a couple out because I did notice them in the stair scene. It's been an oddly dry winter here this year. We've only had 2 snowstorms that produced anything. Yeah, this is just black-gray. Yeah, we've only had 2 snowstorms that produced anything that stuck. And the last one was on Christmas Day. That'll look just about right underneath on the leg. Yeah, if you watch the movie, you'll see exactly what I mean on these red wires. Not a lot of them, but they're there. The inside of my nose is dry too. I still didn't watch this the other night. Maybe I'll do that today. I watched the boardroom scene and the fight scene shortly before the stream just to kind of get my head in the right space. And I may still have to make the double doors and the top stairwell, top few steps of the stairs as a display base. No, I can't, because I don't have the destroyed left gun pod. I mean, I could. People would get the joke. But I'd want the broken arm possible if I'm doing that. Okay, there's that. Anything else I need to paint red that the decals don't take care of? There is a bundle of wire there. Huh. Okay. Nope, those can go straight on. There's decals on that. Alright, we can start some of the final assembly and get a clear coat on it. That way we can do the wash. And by do the wash, I don't mean the type where you get speared in the pilot seat of the Serenity. That's a different kind of wash. Okay. Get this off the desk. Actually, I know what I have to touch up real quick. Really? There we go. Couple little things to take care of before I do the clear coat. There's that. There's a little bubble there. And the ammo straps on the guns. There's still parts that I won't paint, which is this length of it here, because that's going to be getting painted a darker aluminum color. And I kind of want any metallics I add from now on to be able to be shiny. That's why I still haven't put these parts on, because I want them to retain that sheen. Well, I'm at 5,000 feet. Typically here, like, our mountains have been getting good snow this year. Like, I can see it from my house. There's a good layer up there. We just haven't been getting it down low, which is fine. We want it to be up in the mountains where it'll stay longer. No worries. Starting the next round of music. What do we pick this time? So I'm going to start out giving this a coat of the gloss floor finish. That actually dries pretty quick. After I've sprayed that and it's curing, I'm going to run upstairs, get some fresh water. Not my paint water. And we will do the decals on it. And then seal those under the satin finish, which I can then do the wash and shading for what I need. We've actually made a lot of good progress today. So get that out of the way. Get these last few bits here installed. I knew there was a reason I kept the instructions beside decals. So that's number 12. That goes on this side. There we go. Hopefully once all this is done, I can throw out the box. Because I'll have no more sprues that I need to concern myself about storing. Alrighty. See if we can get this one on there too. There we go. And these caps, that way I can touch up the base. So they are handed. Okay. So the real question is, do I do another short showing the progress? This might actually be finished tonight. Or do I wait a bit and just find something else to do a short about, just to break it up a bit? I'll probably break it up, just to be honest. There's that. Another thing I'm waiting on with the Kenworth is I'm stripping the chrome off the exhaust stacks. Because they have a seam running right down the middle of them. And it's easier to strip it, fill it, sand it, and completely repaint it evenly than to try and touch it up, even with the new chrome paints and markers that they have these days. Doesn't really matter which one they go on. There's that. And that. All right. And I don't want to put the clear coat onto the wiring because, aside from me throwing it all over the place just now, it will crack and separate later. I only put it on where I needed to absolutely have it. And I may not even clear coat these since the paint that's on them is good enough for doing a wash. So these can wait over here too. Alright. Come on, get out of the holder. There. So, right now we're working with the cheapo Master Series that came with the new compressor. Still getting used to it. Not used to a gravity fed. I've always used a siphon fed. So, let's see what your spray pattern's like. Can't really tell because it's clear coat. I just don't want to flood the model either. I'd rather go lighter, multiple coats, than one heavy coat that'll run all over the place like a toddler in a table factory. But I'm already liking the storage tank style on the compressor. And it's a much quieter compressor. Oh, another fucking spam call. Let that dry and probably come back, give it another coat. I remember when I did the original Horizon kit, the automotive primer was one of the few paints I found. Because I painted it while I was in tech school. So there wasn't like a fully stocked hobby shop to choose from. I had basically the tester sets I could buy at the BX. They were all enamels. And enamels don't go well with vinyl kits. However, automotive primer did. So I got the Duplicolor primer, and that's what I used to base paint the whole model. Then I could use enamels on the over the primer. Because enamels on vinyl won't fully cure. They'll remain gummy. They react with the vinyl. But the lacquer dried in a heartbeat. Completely different type of solvent. Do one side. I still have to do the chrome on the pistons too. Again, that'll be one of the last things we do. Set that down. It's kind of how I'm going to have to do the guns, too. Do one side, then do the other. Unless... Haha! It's empty. I'm just glad what I'm using as the clear coat dries very quickly. It's not Future, but it is a similar kind of floor finishing product. And it dries absolutely clear. Unfortunately, Future is no longer available. At least not under its original name. And I have yet to find what replaced it. So I had to kind of hunt around. But when I do the wash, you'll also see the reason that I use black gray instead of straight black for a lot of my stuff is I'll be able to go back with a straight black wash and go over that and make the shadows even deeper. Set you there. Which, that's the one I already painted one side. Okay. Okay, what's going on here? Compressor's on. Okay. I still gotta play with my regulator settings, I think. Just a little more. I need to look into some trigger pads too. This also shows you how porous the primer is. It doesn't even look like I sprayed clear coat on it. And this is mainly so the decals have something smooth underneath to adhere to. So you don't get what's known as silvering, where air gets caught under the decal, between the decal and the rough texture of the paint surface. Can you put decals over flat paint? Yes. It'll take a hell of a lot of setting solution to get them to really lay down, though. It's easier just to gloss the surface as best you can, because it helps eliminate air from getting trapped underneath it. Alright, do the other side of the legs. I might have to put a larger needle in this too. I think this came with the 3 in it. I might need to put the 5 in it just for better flow applications like this. New airbrush, new tools, new compressor, new learning. This trigger's definitely digging into my finger on the edge. Okay. Let's find something to lean you against. Oh, that works out perfectly. And a good gloss sealer also seals the rough surface if you're going to do any wash work. If you want to do a detail wash, the gloss allows the wash to collect around the details and not stain the paint as thoroughly. Whereas if you were to do it over a flat surface, you would be staining things a lot because it would get into the tooth of the paint. You can still do washes after a flat coat if you want something a bit more subtle, like a sand or dust effect, things like that. But for this, a semi-gloss satin finish will be fine once it's all done. So depending on where I get on this today, Monday's stream might be either Felicia version 2 again, doing more paint on her, or it will be the Julie Strain Fact 2 tribute figure. Or themed figure, whatever term you want to use for that. Allie's being strange. Stay. Are you playing in your donut? You are. She's got the zoomies. But ultimately, I'm just trying to get an extremely even surface on here for the next few steps of things. Okay, stand up there. There we go, it's finally starting to even out and soak in. One more coat on the main body. And I could have just put the model back together and sprayed it, but it would have made it difficult to get into certain areas, and I'd be spraying the clear coat on things that don't necessarily need it, like the arms, the elbow joints in the arms, things like that. What the hell? How? What? Don't yell at me. You're the one that flipped that up by yourself. Did you guys see that? What are you doing? Yeah, for those who weren't paying attention, Allie just flipped her donut up on its side, dumped her stuffed facehugger out on the floor, and then when I asked her what she was doing, she looked at me and meowed like I was the one that did it. All right. Yeah, that's smooth enough. I don't need it to be glass smooth perfect. But I do need to let it cure, which will take up to an hour. That being the case, it has been 3 hours. I did not plan that. So, seeing that we've hit the 3-hour mark, 2 o'clock. I think this is probably going to be about the best stopping point we're going to get today. I'd start something else, but I don't want to rush it. depending on how the rest of the day goes, keep an eye on your notifications. There's a slim chance that I could be back on here tonight doing more of the work on this. But I can't promise anything. It's 2 o'clock now. I want to tend to some things in the hobby space. And then also, where did my Q-tips go? Get some laundry done. And tend to the printer, make sure that's going right. Because I had to reset my plate level today. But everything seems to be going fine. But yeah, let me know what you think so far. I feel like this model's coming along really well. And I honestly can't wait to see the finished product. I might have to take like a file or something to this, or maybe even flip the trigger over. Like flip it around if it can. I don't know. Because the edge, so this part of the trigger feels really sharp on my finger when that's nice and rounded. It's aggravating the callus that I've already got there. Yeah, so far I'm enjoying the gravity feed, though. I haven't done any tests for, like, line thickness and stuff like that yet. I will have... I think I'll use the shading that I'm going to do on this for that test. Because I'll be going in with some thinned out Tamiya NATO black. And that's what I'll be doing. Because if you look at the filming model, not so much the full-size one, but the filming model itself has almost like a shadow, dirt shadow around all like the nuts and bolts and details on it. And I want to replicate that a little bit. Good and clean down in there. Yep. But thank you everybody for watching and hanging out. We actually had a really good number of people today. If there's any new subscribers on YouTube, thank you again. I'll check you out after the stream. Thanks again to Aries for the bits on the Twitch side. And the resub. And I will see you all Monday, if not possibly sooner. So y'all have a good night.